host as you did for me, Taylor. You're an incredible host. I hope to do you justice, do about half as good of a job having you on here. We're going to dive straight into it. This is a quick, short, to the point, help people, give them something tangible and move on. And it's funny, I ask everyone what they want to dive in on. And you chose consistency. And I'm kind of curious why because I think that's such an important part of obviously living a life with intention and creating results. But why did you choose it?
Yeah, just for me, people ask me all the time, like, hey, how have you been doing solar for so long? Because I'm sure you've seen, Zach, a lot of people have left the industry, just door to door in general. A lot of guys don't do it for super long.
True.
Solar is maybe a little bit different, where this is kind of more of a career thing. But I think that's the biggest secret. So when you ask me, like, if there's one thing I could train on, that's the first thing that popped in my mind. I'm like, man, just consistency. It's so important. So many people quit these days. We live in a generation where guys they're not making money, so they move on to the next thing. And so I just think it's so important to have that consistency in when it comes to solar cells, really when it comes to anything.
Yeah.
Because that's where the results come, as consistency compounded over time. So that's why I chose it.
I think you're spot on. It reminded me of, the 3 feet from gold scenario, and so many people come into an industry like sales to get ahead, to really strike that gold for themselves, to create it, but they never apply it, and they never give it a full enough shot in one thing, because they're always just jumping to the next thing. That's kind of what comes to my mind. So is that kind of what consistency means to you, or how would you even define consistency?
To me, I just think of it as something, whether it be big or small, just something that you're repeating.
Okay.
So some people have heard like the 10,000 hour rule, like you have to become a master of something, you have to do it over and over and over. So I just think a simple definition is something big or small that you repeat over a period of time.
So nothing sexy to it, almost even boring. And I wonder if that's maybe why a lot of people struggle with it, because it is nothing sexy. It's just this boring, like day in, day out, repeat the process. And you've been applying this yourself in the Solarpreneur podcast for a while. How long exactly have you done the podcast?
Yeah, it's been since about 2019. So I think coming up on 6 years now.
6 years.
And and that's another thing people ask me about too, because just running a podcast, I think the stat is it's like 90% of podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes. So yeah, or something close to that number.
Yeah.
So
no, that's crazy. That's crazy. You've obviously gone way past 10.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've only done 10 in 6 years.
Yeah. More than that.
Maybe even just applying it to that, like, because I didn't realize what all goes behind the scenes. You have a podcast, sounds cool, and you're like, let's do this. And I'm learning so much behind the scenes, even just being this the fifth episode we've done here for us. Like, there is so much that goes on. What do you hold on to in order to apply consistency to something even as impactful as a podcast, but is also as tedious, right? Like, what do you hold on to help you show up consistently?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think it's different for everyone. But when it comes to the podcast, for me, it's just been something that I've been doing for so long. Like, you build up a skill, right? Or you get to a point where you feel like you're proficient in something, and I just hate to lose the work that I gained. It's almost like I just made it to Super Mario World. It's like I made it to Bowser's Castle, and I feel like if I'm quitting, I'm just like running into the lava and never trying the game again. So, I don't know. That's what I think of it.
No, I think a lot, like, that's something that I don't think occurred to me before. Is like that's that compound effect, right? Because you've layered on so much that walking away from it is almost like tossing everything you've built up to this point, like, to the side, kind of thing. Is that kind of what you're talking about, or?
Yeah, exactly.
So I wonder if that's like that's part of the compoundingness of consistency, is because you build so much in that action that it's harder to not apply consistency. It now becomes habit to keep layering it on, to keep stacking, to keep attacking.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a level that a lot of people don't get to, because to me it becomes a lot easier when you can get to that level where you feel like, okay, I'm getting this. Because I think most of us, we don't really like things that we suck at, right?
True.
Like my wife is always trying to get me to play pickleball, but I kind of suck at it, so I don't love it yet. And I tell her, hey, if I was good at this, then I'd probably want to play all the time. But so I think, especially when it comes to making money, whether it be sales or the job we're in, if we hate it, then maybe we need to look at, okay, have I really put in the time to become proficient at it at a level where I want to be consistent?
That's
Because
good.
when you get to that level, it just, at least in my journey, it's just been so much easier to get out and be consistent. When I feel like, okay, I've done this for a long time, I feel like I'm good at it. But if I stop being consistent with it, then I'm going to lose a lot of progress. And that's how I think of things.
Yeah, I think that's so good, Taylor, what you just hit on, like looking far enough in the future, right, to say, have I given myself enough time to get good at this, right? Because people choose what they want to do based on whether they like it or not, but the fact is you don't like it until you get good at it, right?
Yeah.
If you kept playing pickleball, you eventually will get good. You'd probably enjoy it. Applying that to sales or to generating income, you're trying to find this thing that you like to do. What if you just chose what you like to do and you just stayed at it, like chose what you wanted to enjoy doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like choose what you want to enjoy doing and then go after that thing consistently. You'll get to a point where you are good at it and then the money really flows.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
and there's a lot of other things too that I'm sure we'll get into, but it's like, having other people hold you accountable. Like, I think another point where my podcast took off a little bit more is when I started paying an assistant to help me like edit the podcast and do everything. Because then it became like another thing. She was holding me accountable. If I wasn't like getting a podcast out to her on time, then she was bugging me. Hey Taylor, where's the episode? What are we releasing for this day? And I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have anything. And I'm paying this I'm paying this editor. You know what? I gotta, even though I don't want to, I gotta get out and put something out there because
Dude, it's such a funny thing because we'll do more for other people than we will do for ourselves, right? Like almost everyone suffers from that, but like you can lean into it and say, I'm going to put these people on my back. I'm leading them. Like I've got to provide the content so that they can. That's really kind of inspiring right there.
Yeah.
Lauren says she thinks that's where she's at now. Finally starting to enjoy door to door because maybe she's getting good at it right now. I love that, Lauren. Nice. Let me ask you this, Taylor. So why do you think? We'll ask this why question, obviously. Why do you think consistency is vital, or has a vital role on an intentional life? So if we're talking about, maybe it's something along the lines of what you're just saying, but to be intentional. This is the LIVE podcast. We're helping people live with intention. What do you think consistency is so vital in living intentionally?
Yeah. I'd say, I think to live intentionally, like it's our intention to be great. Probably anyone listening to your podcast, Zach, I'm sure they want to be great. I'm sure they want to have great things happen in their lives. I'm sure they've got high goals for themselves.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. Because I don't think you can live intentional without like accomplishing something and having like a purpose, having stuff you're trying to achieve.
Right.
And along those lines, like I don't see anyone that's been successful or having something or achieve something great without having just taken those steps of consistency. So I think it goes hand in hand with that. If you're going to live intentional, if you whatever it is you set out to achieve, it's probably going to take a certain level of consistency.
Right.
So that's where it goes back to. I think it can be applied to basically anything, because like, what are you going to achieve if you don't have consistency?
You're talking about achievement now and like outcome. So I wonder, like for you in your life, you've done the podcast for so long. You've been in a door-to-door grind of direct sales for solar for so long, in a mature, experienced market, right? The whole time has been in California, right?
Yeah.
So what do you apply the measure of consistency to? You know what I mean? Like, are you focused on the achievements and consistently producing results, or are you focusing your consistency on another part of the or the process? What would you say to that?
I think it's more the process for me, especially if I'm thinking of, door to door, for example, solar cells that we do. I tell all my guys that's the best way that I get myself to go out and knock doors, even after doing this for, 10 plus years, is just I focus on the numbers that I need to hit, the input for myself, more than the results that come from it. Because we call it the solar coaster, right? So many ups and downs. But I know that if I put in the inputs, it doesn't really matter. If I go out and hit the conversations that I know I'm supposed to, I could even get 0 sales on the week. Most weeks I don't if I hit the number right, the input I'm trying to. But yeah, there's been weeks where I hit 0 sales, but I know I put in the input, and I'm happy with that week.
Yeah,
I knew I hit what I needed to.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like how you said you're happy with it. Like, can I challenge you? You're truly happy, even if there's no sales to show for. If you put in the work, you can look back and you have a sense of happiness to that.
Yeah. In the converse, there's been weeks where I didn't put in the input, but I still pulled out a couple sales. And there's weeks where I've been like upset, like, oh, I got a couple sales. I made great money this week, but I didn't. I took my foot off the gas, and I knew I could have done that much better. So there's been weeks where I did great, but I didn't put in inputs. So there's like I honestly feel better when I put in the inputs, even if I made $0 versus the weeks where I did. You know what I mean? So.
Dude, I think you've uncovered something. I hope everyone can feel this, because if you're going to live an intentional life and create something great, you actually have to separate from the result itself and fall in love with the work that you put in consistently. Because even if the result doesn't come, if you've done your part, you'll feel the satisfaction that will keep you going, versus the contrary, what you're just describing, Taylor, of like knowing you had more in the tank and you didn't give it. Now you're more likely to feel frustrated, and that might even create a downturn in your next week, as opposed to stacking effort and pouring it all in, that likely yielding an upturn, even if there was no sales to show for it that week. Man, I think that's so good.
Yeah.
So
that's a secret. Yeah, and just tracking the numbers, it's like door knocking 101, but tracking the conversations. I make it a game, so that way I'm thinking less about the rejection. I'm just thinking, oh, sweet, I just got someone got halfway through the presentation, they slammed the door in my face, but hey, I got a conversation. I get to take it off on the little clicker I have.
Yeah.
So yeah, making it a game.
Yeah, and I think even on another level, what's just occurred to me is like the power of consistency and how that compounds. One of the compound effects of it is not just that you're stacking effort, stacking inputs, because that will yield an output, but I also think that below the surface, I'm all about the mind, below the surface, when you are focused on doing your part, you're more likely to build confidence within yourself. And I think that's that second kind of hidden layer of compounding, that you now have a higher self-worth or self-image because you're doing your part. Even if there's no results to show for it, you can trust and feel satisfaction in the effort that you've put into it. That has like a yield effect. You've been sharpening the sword, and then things come into play where like opportunity meets that preparation. I don't know, that is that making sense? I feel like that just occurred to me.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you've read a book called "That's the Speed of Trust." It's by I think Stephen
R. Covey, right?
I think Stephen Covey's son. Yeah, Stephen R. Covey. But yeah, he talks about that. Like usually the most successful people in business, they have a lot of trust, and the trust starts with trusting ourselves. Right? So if we say we're going to do something, can we trust ourselves to go do it?
Right.
If we say we're going to go out and knock X amount of doors, have this amount of conversations, can we do it? And then to your point, if we can trust ourselves, then we're going to have confidence that we're going to go do what we say. And confidence builds, just builds ability and performance for sure. And then, if you can trust yourself, then it's about, builds out in everything you do. Can you trust your team? the more trust you can have with yourself, with your team, with your business relationships, then the quicker things can get done. So
Yeah.
I like that principle a lot.
Yeah, dude.
It's good.
Nailed it there. I have one more question for you. This is the LIVE podcast. We help entrepreneurs and salespeople live with intention. We go live to help you live with intention. We're talking about consistency, kind of a deep dive here. I have one more question for you because this is short, sweet, to the point, make an impact, and off we go. I have my way of doing this. I think this is something. Oh, maybe we have a second question. How do you start trusting yourself, though? Hold on. This is good.
That's a good question.
I think let's go a little bit longer. Let's answer this one from Laura. This is the advantage of coming live. Lauren asked this question. How do you start trusting yourself, though? How do you make sure that you do what you say you'll do? Whoa. What do you think?
That's good. I mean, it's not easy sometimes. But I think I heard this first probably from Mike O'Donnell, which I know you know Mike down there in Arizona.
That's right.
But he used to talk all the time about this, just the mini habits stuff, and just like the power of doing something small, and then it usually leads to something big.
Right.
So the example he gave was just like, okay, if you want to get in better shape, just start with doing one push-up. And so he would go like every day, okay, I'm just going to do one push-up. But what ended up happening is when he got down to the one push-up, he's like, I'm already at the ground. You know what? Might as well do 10 push-ups.
And it
starts from there. And people say that. Talks about it every Monday. Yep. So he talks about it all the time. But you can go for anything. Start with something small. And if you feel like, I don't want to do that, or it's going to be very difficult, then just make like a tiny habit that you start doing every day. Then I think that's the easiest way to build out the confidence in yourself, the trust in yourself, that you can show up to do at least one thing and give yourself permission that after you do the one thing, and whether it's one push-up or you go knock one door or whatever, if you're not feeling it, then you can quit after that, but at least you did the small step, and chances are you're going to end up doing a lot more than you originally thought.
Absolutely.
That's what I would say.
What's so cool about Lauren's question too, I think that nails it. That's definitely one of the things I was going to is what I was going to ask. I was like, where do you even begin? Let's say someone is struggling with consistency. You're a great leader, Taylor. They come to you. I know you're a great leader. You lead great people. Like, they come to you and they say, I'm struggling getting consistent. Like, we have our way of doing it, but I was curious. Would you say that is the recommendation that you would give them, that just what's one thing that you could start to build on, or would there be any more to that to help someone who's been struggling with consistency start that compounding effect?
Yeah, I would say that. And then one other thing is just get around people that have similar, mindsets, goals you're trying to achieve. So that's why it's so powerful. In door-to-door sales, we go out with their teams. We have group chats cranking. Right now we're doing a fitness challenge, and we have a whole group chat for that, part of a community.
Right.
And that's why you have people are just dying to have community, right? That's why it's so powerful. What you're doing too, Zach, is you're putting people in communities to, master their mindsets, achieve great things. Because if you have other people that are in it together, you're surrounded by them, and you have the accountability, and you see other people doing it, then it's always much more likely that you can actually do it. Yeah, so I would say that the tiny steps first, and then just getting part of a community, like-minded people that are doing similar things that you're trying to achieve. I think that's the biggest secret
too. I think you hit that right on the head. That's well said, because that's like full circle. You're giving your responsibility to like follow up and follow through for someone else's benefit also. Like, if I'm not a part of the community today, if I'm not there today, like someone else, might struggle as well. Like, I could be there for someone else, just like you put out the content so that your editor has something to edit, right? Like, you're providing that work in multiple facets, and it helps you continue to show up, which makes you consistent, keeps the promises to yourself. That starts to compound. Now you have more confidence, which increases your performance in the things that you're doing, and you get really good at it, and boom, you're off to the races, and things really start to roll for you exponentially. That's beautifully said. Well done, Taylor. It's been an honor to have you here. For those of you who don't know, if they're coming from my audience and liked what they heard, Taylor, where can they hear of you more? Where can they connect with you more and keep learning all this greatness?
Yeah, appreciate it, Zach. I would say just here on Instagram, follow me, Taylor J. Armstrong, Solarpreneur Podcast. We're always trying to drop at least a couple episodes a week for podcasts. And yep, consistent. Yeah. So if you don't see me show up, then bug me. Be like, hey, so you're talking about consistency, but where's the podcast?
That's right. That's right.
Yep, showing up. So yeah, I would say that's probably the easiest place to give us a follow. And I'm here in San Diego, so anyone that wants to come sell with us in San Diego, hit me up. That's probably the easiest spots. Thanks, Zach.
Awesome. Absolutely. I appreciate it. It's been an honor having you here on LIVE. We help entrepreneurs and salespeople live with intention to create their freedom. It starts here, and then it shows up in those consistent actions that will compound over time and lead to a life of freedom. You've heard it here. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you on the next one.
Let's go.